I want to share something with y'all real quick. It just came to me as I was making some more crepes today. Which, by the way, these are 264 calories and 65 grams of protein. And so, mind you, the reason that I'm making these is because actually I was having a craving for cream cheese wontons. While I know that every once in a while it's okay to have things like that, right now it's just not the time for me. Now, the first batch I made of these the other day, I made like two of them. But with all that I just made today, just brought like a certain awareness to me and some of my old behaviors. I've always had a very addictive personality, hence to, if you know my backstory with my drug addiction over the years. And just in case you don't know and you're new to my page, I'm a recovering methamphetamine addict, opioid addict, and fentanyl addict, and occasionally Xanax too. And in all honesty, I was a chronic user. I wasn't that person or that girl that got high for, during for parties or to hang out with friends or just to goof off on the weekends. This was like a everyday thing for me. To wrap it all up, whenever I like something, I like it. And it was the same way with food for me once I got clean and off drugs and then transfer addiction and I became addicted to food. I made a video about this years ago whenever I first started posting about my journey and stuff like that. And I went in Walmart and kind of picked out some of my trigger foods back whenever I ate my way to 247 pounds. And I don't know if y'all are familiar with the little Dole, like little parfait cups. It's like pineapples and or peaches and like some little white cream stuff all over them. Anyway, those things are like they come like four to a pack and they're 100 calories each. That's not bad. But here's the thing, I was eating like 12 packs of these things a day. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's the truth. I also used to like coconut waters. They're tall and in the can, and you can get them from the Dollar General here in the area where I'm from. And I think they're like 100 calories a can. And that's not really bad. And hey, it's coconut water, is healthy. But here's the thing, I had like somewhat of an addiction to those things. I was putting down anywhere from 10 to 12 of those a day. It got so bad that the town where I live at, where I'm from, if they didn't have them, I would drive like 7, 10, 15 minutes over to each town, like searching each Dollar General until I find somebody that would have them in stock. Dorito chips, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I always tell people there's no such thing as good and bad foods. Just sometimes some foods can serve you, worse or better according to your current goals at the time. But for a family pack of Doritos, it's 2,160 calories. That is over your daily limit right there. And I love Doritos. And I would always, of course, get a family bag or a party size bag, the real big bag. And before the day was up or going into the next day at least, I would eat them, the entire bag. And so now, mind you, this is not including like when me and my husband would go to like Chipotle and all this. So, in all honesty, I was putting down some days probably 4,500, sometimes 5,000 calories a day, but on average, probably about 36 to 3,800 calories a day. This is exactly how I woke up, and it just seemed like out of nowhere over a year or two, I was just, I mean, it was devastating. But all in all, I guess what I'm saying is that, now that it just created awareness, like awareness for me around food. I've always known that I've had an addictive personality, but just until this very day, if I find something that I like it, and I obsess about it. I'm just so happy now that most of the time, most of the foods that I enjoy happen to be in line with my current goals, which was weight loss and just building an amazing physique for myself. But don't get me wrong, I still screw off with, my calories, and I do have fun foods and I have foods that I enjoy. But there's also times during my journey just to stay, grounded and disciplined. I will entirely take the fun out of food. And here's the perfect example. While this may not look appealing to, most people, this is just like I say, 2 cups of egg whites with 2 tablespoons of protein mixed together, and I spray 0 calorie olive oil in the pan and cook them in zero sugar syrup. And to most people, that's not very appealing. But I always get asked after losing 240, after weighing 247 pounds and people see my before and after pictures, and I've lost 97 pounds of body fat and just totally recumped my body. And the biggest thing is everybody's like, how did you get your stomach like that? Did you have surgery? Did you have loose skin? And even though, unlike, most fitness influencers and people that probably are in my shoes that wouldn't tell you, I'm going to tell y'all, even though I know you're not going to listen, because the truth of the matter, just so many people can't eat like this. The secret is truly in the diet. You just have to be consistent. And when I say diet, I hate that word, but in your eating habits. I'm not never saying you can't enjoy fun foods like pizza and chips and things like that, but you're going to have to find a breaking point. Learn to obsess about things that serve you. Like right now, if I wanted to go out and have pizza, or even if I would have ate the wontons, or went and ordered the wontons at my local Chinese restaurant, those things are like so high in calorie, they're deep fried, and eventually I will. It's not going to hurt me, because here's the thing, I'm not going to obsess about them. I would order them, get it out of my system, be done, and get right back to my normal and usual way of eating. And even once I order them, I'm still going to log them and put it in my food tracking app, even if it takes me way over my calories, because I like to stay aware and just have a somewhat of a diary of what I'm doing, what I'm putting into my body. So I said that to say this. Just another thing that I love about, making this a lifestyle is that it's just created so much awareness for me. And my biggest problem was not that I just ate bad foods all the time, despite, the Doritos. A lot of the stuff that I was eating back then, even though I didn't know anything about calories, I didn't really have a need to. Well, I did because I was overweight, but I was also working out all the time, doing at-home workouts, and I thought that I was going to be able to lose weight just through working out and that I could eat whatever I wanted. But looking back, now that I have the knowledge, a lot of that stuff that I was eating, those snacks and stuff, it was low-calorie stuff. But because of my behaviors around certain foods, when I like something, I like it, and I just obsessed about it, and I want it all the time, and I want a lot of it, and I want it back to back. That is exactly how I wind up gaining weight. I would take the lowest calorie stuff, sometimes even the most healthy stuff, like going to Chipotle, and I could just turn it into a real bad situation, and I paid the price for it, which I'm glad, because I wouldn't be where I am today. But again, I just wish that everybody could truly realize that a lot of the times it's just all about calories in, calories out. Losing weight is simple. It's hard as hell, but it's simple. It's hard because it's just, you have to be very strategic, always thinking and planning, which is where a lot of people experience burnout, or either they will typically try to convince themselves that they're smarter than what they are. For instance, always looking for shortcuts, and there aren't any. And the truth is, most of y'all won't stick to new habits long enough to try to figure out, just to create self-awareness about yourself and your behaviors around food. And a lot of the times y'all make the mistake of trying to rely on willpower constantly with a lot of these fad diets.